What up, everybody, and welcome to Late Night Live number 106, the last live of 2023. Wow! Can't believe it's already the last live of the year. But next week, unfortunately, I am busy on Tuesday, so I won't be able to stream. And then I'm home for the holidays, and streaming while I'm back home is just not plausible. How's it going, Marilyn? Nice to see you. Got my tea here. And check this out. Shout out to Kahlo Make Art. I don't know if you can see it with my camera the way it is. Back there, I have a little nightlight or a little lamp that has an alphabet on it. And that same alphabet, whoopah, is on this here coaster. And actually, while I'm at it, that same alphabet again, whoopah, is on this journal that I forgot was right behind me. Right there. These come from Kahlo Make Art. I got this coaster in the mail just the other day. So I'm gonna put my tea on it. Check out that alphabet, it's so nice. Put my mug on the coaster. What up, Skeet? Nice to see you. Also, silly little gift that came with the coaster, check this out. Is a Charlie Chaplin potato peeler using his umbrella or his cane as the peel. I love that. And then, similar shaped object. Check out this cool keychain. If anybody knows me, knows I'm a huge Ghibli fan. Studio Ghibli, Japanese anime, and this comes from the Ghibli Museum. How cool is that? Awesome. Fun little things that showed up in the mail this week. So cool. The potato peeler will live in my kitchen, and I have to find somewhere to put something to hang the keychain on. Hello, Deep D. Nice to see you. What up, Jay? How you doing this evening? All right, let's dive in. Today we are doing business penmanship again. If I'm being honest, I wasn't planning to do business penmanship so many weeks in a row, but I've really enjoyed the past 2 weeks of doing business penmanship, so I wanted to do it again. The question, though, the past two, we've pretty much stuck to lowercase letters. The question is, what letter are we going to work on first? Any suggestions in the chat of lowercase letters, capital letters, specific lowercase letters that we want to work on? Let me grab the books that I was using last week. We're kind of going back and forth from Zahner's method of arm movement writing, Manual 144, and Palmer method. To decide what letters to do. I think we finished on, what did we finish on last week? S was the last letter, or was it W? Right. We had just started the W when it struck midnight and we ended the stream. So maybe we'll start today with W, and then we can go into the lowercase r. And then I'm kind of feeling the inkling to dive into some capital letters today. Cool, so let's go back to W. There's the page that I'm going to be referencing right there in Zahner's book. First and foremost, though, I gotta get warmed up. I'll be using, once again, my Pocket 6, Shown Design Pocket 6. I'll get you guys zoomed in a little bit here. I'm gonna write something so the camera has something to zoom on. There we go. Put that in the middle. Zoom in a little bit. Lock my focus. Booyah. And we're good to go. Hello, Ojaswini. What up, Abjit? Good evening. Well, evening for me. Good, whatever time it is for you to you. What up, Eric? How's it going? Question for those of you in the chat. Has anybody, worked on this week's Discord Ornamental Penmanship Challenge yet? Taking our shaded oval into a properly formed capital O? Curious? I have not, admittedly. I have not had time today. Or yesterday. How many was on your list that you were planning? How many are you planning to do? You've got 2 done of how many? Sweet, glad to hear it, Jay. $30. I mean, 2 of 30 is not that bad. I'll say your ratio's doing better than mine is so far. It's pretty easy to get to. I hope to send... I guess they won't be cards. I'm going to do Christmas letters this year. I hope to send at least 8. I sent off today the last 2 of my Christmas order blotters that people ordered from me. Now it's too late to get things shipped out by Christmas, so I don't anticipate anybody putting or any more orders coming in. So now I have time. I finished all the blotters. Now I have some gift things that I have to do, but then I can sort of focus on catching up on the letters and whatnot. Alright, W. I'm gonna start with our large form condensed U's. I still have to do some Christmas shopping as well. That has not been on my mind at all this year. Gotta get on that. Running out of time. Whoa. Come on, hand, wake up. Fascinating at how more, all on one line my third upstroke is compared to the other ones. Ooh, that makes sense, Marilyn. That'll be a fun trip. How long are you there for again? Go into some R's. Or W's, I mean. Now here's a question for everybody in the chat. When you do your W's, because I know some people do, some people don't, do you guys condense the second downstroke and undercurve? Do you guys do all even, like so? Or, I guess that one's condensed a little bit. It's not supposed to be. Or do you condense? That's extreme. Do you make the second one half width, or do you leave it normal? Hello, Olivia. Oh, that's valid, Marilyn. If you live 5 miles south of Disneyland, yeah, you can go there any old day. Mostly no, alright. I wonder, it must be because of coming from, or focusing most on ornamental penmanship. It feels like wrong for me to not condense the second upstroke. Or rather, I guess, third upstroke. Interesting. Half width, Skeet, nice. Yeah, I am pro half width, personally. I just like the way it looks. Oh, W's are tough for me. I get that. It's the same thing, similar to what we had when we were doing the N. We had the little wobbly, how it curves on the downstroke. I get my downstroke there ends up being curved, almost like a C, rather than like an I. Which I gotta work on. Yours kinda looks like boobs. I mean, that could work, depending on what you want, what you're going for. Gotta write bigger. You've mentioned that connection a few weeks in a row now. I get the feeling you really don't like it. How do you do it? We'll get there. I'm gonna do a W first, then I'll work on some standalone R's, and I'll connect them as I get warmed up. My hand feels uncertain today. It's tentative. Oh, sirens outside. For the R, I wouldn't go as high as the T. I just go slightly above the X height. Whoa. That second undercurve is rough. But from the W, nothing changes. You just do the R like normal. Ugh, I gotta do some small just U's here for a second. Fix that undercurve. Fix this uncertain hand of mine. A lot of people talk about the WR being a crazy... I don't find it a crazy connection, personally. I think it doesn't look like how people want it to look, but I think that's because people want it to look a way that it's not possible to look. I think it just looks different than people want it to look. Oh, that's that paper, that copper plate graph paper you got a little bit ago. That's good. Glad you're liking it. I need to take my X height a little bit higher here. What up, Lurker James? Well, so many emojis today. Peace, dab. Is that a cat in a box? Cat hiding in a box, sealed box, the box falling in a hole. All right. It's like a whole message. It's a whole story there. Alright, let's go into my R's. My W's don't feel incredible, but let's go into some lowercase r's. Find what page those are in Zayner's book. I don't remember off the top of my head. Lowercase r, lowercase r, lowercase, there they are. So here's the variation of the lowercase r that we're working on. Admittedly, I will say I'm gonna do this r today, but in my standard writing lately, and in a lot of business penmen, I feel like do this a lot, use that variation of the lowercase r, which has become my standard go-to variation of the r lately. But we're gonna work on this other one as well. We'll do a little of both, I think. So we're gonna do it large, like so. Going you can see just ever so slightly above the X height. This one is just, I find, I think the main reason that it exists is because it's easier to do at speed. The other one requires a slight checking of movement, which isn't a bad thing. Obviously, a lot of penmen used it. It's a standard R, but the more I started using this one, the more I got drawn to it, and the more I just liked the look of it, and also I liked writing it more so than the other variation of the R. So this is the one that I gravitate to. Good evening, Mom. How you doing? Now, in Zayner's book, he almost has like a... On some of these, it's almost like a hard stop right there, like a point. But then some of them, it's like ever so slightly soft and curved. I'm gonna go to the curved side of things because I don't particularly like when the R has like a stop point on the little shoulder. personal preference thing, I guess. I mean, he has variations in here that look like both. Does he talk about a stop? Let's read. Curve the first and last stroke of the R equally and make them the same in slant. Entry and exit strokes. Make the top part of the R nearly vertical and pause at the shoulder. Finishing with a downward straight line. So he recommends pausing there. Interesting. Finishing with a straight line down in slant like an I. Be sure to make the shoulder of the R obtuse-like and turn on the baseline. Curve the vertical part at the top, but little, and pause at the shoulder instead of at the top. Oh, interesting. So he wouldn't stop there. He would go and then go down. Gotta admit, I've never done it that way. I don't remember actually reading that before either, which is horrible. Curious. I've never done it that way. That, I mean, makes sense, but that ensures that you have a point there, which I don't necessarily like. 120 a minute. That's a lot. Alright, let's see what Palmer has to say on the matter. Out of curiosity, tangling your fingers off. Nice. Not supposed to be an L-shaped curve. I don't know. I mean, nothing about the R is like an L, Marilyn. I'm not sure what you're talking about there. James likes the point on the little shoulder. Interesting. I don't know why I don't. I like it to be a curve. I always have. We're going to check Palmer, and then we're going to check Mills, because I'm curious. Close my pen here real quick. See, well, Palmer, I like Palmer's R page as primarily the first variation we were talking about. But he has up here as well. He doesn't really go into detail on it. The small R given in the first line of the drill cannot be made at high rate of speed, as its form requires checking of movement at the top to form the shoulder. Palmer also has a sharp curve there. Huh. Why have I never made a sharp curve there? I don't know that I want to make a sharp curve there. Alright, I want to check now what Mills has to say on the matter. Heck, while we're at it, we'll check what Mary Champions has to say as well. Here, we'll check Mills first. Where do we got the lowercase r here? There it is. See, some of his are curved a little bit, but he also has the hard shoulder. Well, alright. I am wrong in this instance. It is seeming undeniably so. I will admit, though, I still like the look of a curved lowercase r more than one with a sharp point, but what do I know? You Mary Champion, what do you got for me? Hers also has a point. Alright, so you pause on the shoulder. Well, let's give it a shot. Okay. Sounds good. So we have a direction change at the top, but not a stop. And then we have a slight pause to check our movement at the baseline, so on the shoulder. And then we come down like an I. So if I do large one, we'll go up. Come on. We'll go. Oh. Up, down, and around. Okay. Whoa! It's hard for me to make that look good. Okay, we'll work on this. We're gonna do it the way they want us to do it. Trying to understand specifically what you're asking, Marilyn. I mean, the R is an undercurve, and then the way I've always done it is compound curve to go down straight, like so. Which I guess that must be Spencerian then, and I just assumed that that's the way business penmanship was to be as well, but I'm wrong. What do you mean, soft R and K? Now, getting more books here before I start writing again. Now I'm being criticized for my use of the soft R. I like the soft R more. So where does the soft R come from? What book? What? This isn't what the book I want. Where is... Wait. So, in OP, Lurker James, soft R, because it transitions into that shade. So it is a soft... So this is how I do my lowercase r's. So when I do them in business penmanship, they've always been this same thing, but just without a shade happening on the downstroke. But that's why I do them in OP, because that's, well, according to PZ Blozer and Lupfer, that's how they're to be done in OP. So I don't feel as wrong as I did for a moment there. Now, what other book was I gonna look at? This is baffling to me. This is to discover that, I mean, I must have read this before, but I feel like this is one of those things that I must have just ignored my entire penmanship life. I feel like I'm being enlightened. Yeah, because in ornamental penmanship, I would always go up and curve like so. Always. Well, that's too much retrace, but that's the idea. Always a soft R, we'll call it. We use Lurker James's terminology today. Fiber in my name, get out of there. The no-neck R. I don't... What is a no-neck R? Oh, that just looks... That feels so wrong to do. The other R? Do you mean this? I mean, if... Like if... Then the highest point be the neck. The R like a distant bird. What is this terminology we're using today in the chat? I cannot keep up with you guys. So you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong, James, you're saying, like, if it doesn't go taller, if it's then just... That? No, that can't be what you're saying. No neck. So if this is my X height, this is my baseline, we're going up. This is the shoulder, this is the neck. No neck. How do I do an R without going up there? Just going to here and across? Oh, never. I would never do, or I never do this R. That is ugly. That's a thing people do? I mean, I guess that's in cursive. Blech, no. Well, I feel completely uneducated about the lowercase r. James, send me a picture on Instagram of a no-neck R so that I can know exactly what you're saying, because I'm obviously doing a horrible job at understanding everybody's explanations today. No, I just really like the soft R. Which I guess is what I'm going to call it from now on. I just like the way it looks. But apparently in business penmanship, that's not what I'm supposed to do. But that is an ornamental penmanship thing. So I'm not crazy. That's how I trained to do the R, so that's how I do the R. Ladies and gentlemen, join Late Night Live, where Michael Ward gets to be stupid in public about the lowercase r. Cooking should not take priority over understanding no-neck R's, Lurker James. You need to get your priorities straight here. We need to educate the world about the lowercase r. That is for the greater good. Gosh! I don't like it. So, you don't stop at the top? And pause at the shoulder. I mean, I feel like I still have to stop at the top just a little bit, or I get my down curve is bananas ugly. Ugh. Let's do some large ones here, like they instruct in the book. I guess the one thing that does make a lot of sense about that is that this downstroke is just a lowercase I. So that does make sense. That is, yeah, I get that then. Oh, feels very weird. I feel like I've never done penmanship before. Oh, so the one James is showing stumpy neck. Okay, wait, let me... So the R you're showing is undercurve. So it doesn't have that, like, curved downstroke. What up, Tony? And Lori. How's it going, you guys? You got here just in time to see Mike Ward not know anything. I'm learning that so many things that I thought about the lowercase r are apparently not the thing. Got you. Do I use this? No, but does this look familiar and recognizable and something I see a lot? Yes, most certainly. I want to look now more at... I should look through those 300 graded copies by Mills to see how many times he uses that variation of an R. But I want to see in his book, like towards the end, when he just throws in some R's in there, what his R's look like, if I can find one. Yeah, his are kind of that... I mean, that's round. A little bit. It's not as round as my own, but... I mean, the answer to this entire debate is to just use that R. All the time. Which solves all of my R problems. I guess that's a proper shoulder. A lot of these have proper shoulders on them. But this is also for a book, so this isn't likely how his writing always looks. Okay. Some of them are round, though. Like that, you can't tell me that's not round. It is very fine, but it's a curve. He did not stop there and then go into the eye stroke, the eye downstroke. He stopped at the top, and he might have checked his movement there a little bit, but that's still curved. Curious. Again, not as curved as I do my own. But I am woefully uneducated in the world of business penmanship, lowercase r's, apparently. Yeah, so they just use just like a direct diagonal stroke, so no curve at all. Just up, over, down. Tony, the book I was just looking at was Mills' Business Penmanship. What's it called? Modern Business Penmanship. Modern Business Penmanship by Mills. That was just a printed version that I have. It's this book that you've probably seen before. This book here, small little narrow book. I just scanned it and put in, or I didn't scan it. I took a scan of it and I made a PDF of 3 of these pages per one 8.5 by 11 sheet, just so I didn't have to print each page on its own individual thing, so it can all fit a little bit better. And printed it at Staples years ago. I'm definitely a fan of the Distant Bird R. I missed something in the chat here. I still don't know what Ojaswini's talking about with the Distant Bird. I feel like you explained it up here somewhere. I'm lost. I need to find the R like a distant bird. Birdie R is the one that you did on the previous line. Well, now that was so long ago, I don't know when that was. Is that this? Is that a birdie R? Is that what you call that? I mean, I personally use this R all the time now because it takes all the debate and all my issues with the R out. At the end? Oh, what? Oh, the terminal R. Thank you, Eric, for using a term that I would know, not distant bird R. It's the terminal R or an ending R. Thank you. I appreciate that, Eric, for rescuing me. People in your no-neck R's and your... Come on. I do like soft R. That makes sense, though, because I understand because it has a soft shoulder instead of a hard shoulder. So that one, I'll give you that one, Lurker James. But Birdie R, I'm sorry, Ojaswini. That's, I will not adopt that terminology. Not even Birdie R, distant Birdie R. Alright. So we have back to writing, I guess, here. Now, which one am I gonna do? I feel like most of the books teach the hard shoulder, so that's the one I'm gonna work on today. Of course you do, Lori. Whatever description confuses Mike the most. No, Eric. The bird R. Don't. I don't know if it actually has, because this, you wouldn't call this a terminal R, because it's not at the end. I don't actually know what they would call this one in the book. I'd have to go through and see, but it's just that's a nicer variation. I didn't adopt it for a lot of years, but now that I have, I very much prefer writing it. And I prefer reading it now as well. I don't use it for commissions as much, because when people want cursive things, they usually want a standard R. The deathbed R. I'm gonna call the terminal R the deathbed R from now on. That just sounds like the last thing a pirate says before he perishes. It's the deathbed R. Sorry, horrible joke. But technically, terminal R would be, it would actually terminate. That would be the official terminal R. And variations of the terminal R would be when you go up the other direction. But that's the birdie R. Anyways. Decapitated terminal R. Wow. The decapitated terminal R. Do I know that one? No. I don't. Would this be the decapitated terminal R? Because it doesn't have the little small bead? The head is not connected. What? How do you do a... Decapitated terminal R would be then... not connected like that? Why would you not connect that? Minus the upstroke. You lift. This is the most ridiculous... No! Mom, do not jump on this bandwagon. Don't. This is the most ridiculous live. Of the 106 weeks I've been doing this, this is equally the most confused I feel like I've... and the most ridiculous I've ever sounded and seemed on a stream. No! No, don't take their side, Mom. Turning... Oh, what is happening here? Like that, but with a point or a tick. Oh gosh, the delay in time, because you say like that, but whatever, like that, I wrote that seconds ago. Okay, wait. Decapitated terminal R. Like that? Trying to see, like that, but with a point or a tick. Yeah, so it goes, so we have the overturn, the downstroke, and then there's just like a little thing there. It's not connected. Okay, that makes sense. I feel like, is that something you would see also in, like, an engrosser script? Because you'd get that one that is like the, just like a standard engrosser script downstroke. And then you just have the straight line, and then like the, oh, sorry, which side does that shade go on? Just like a little, like that. So I feel like that, engrosser script R is similar to, without the little hairline in the middle, the decapitated R? Decapitated terminal R. Oh my goodness. No, I've never used that one. I don't even remember seeing that before. You have to send me something that uses that. Because I don't feel like I've noticed that before. If I've seen it, I mean, I've probably seen it, but I don't believe I've ever actually noticed it. I would say back on track, but I don't even know what the track is now anymore. Thanks for hanging out, Eric. Hopefully your dreams are filled with distant birdie R's and decapitated terminal R's and deathbed R's and all that other fun stuff. I look forward to seeing your work on the shaded capital O on the Discord. All right, get back to work here. I have a lot of, when I stop at the shoulder, I have a lot of trouble not making this downstroke so very curvy. Like it's a subtle curve in the books. And when I stop there, I end up going up and like curving right into it. I don't know why that is, but that's a habit I will have to get rid of if I choose to use this R. Which maybe I won't now that I see all the other plethora of options available to me. It's almost like I have to think about making it straight, and then it's gonna be naturally the curve that I want. That's what it seems like. Oh, it's just so curvy. Get rid of that curve. So many of these are slightly rounded. I'm calling Bull's Pizzle because, yeah, they are soft. Not as soft as the ones in ornamental penmanship, but they don't all have a sharp point. I don't care what Zaner says in his instructions. Let's space those out a bit more. I need to make these taller. They're getting very, very tiny. I'm not doing running hand. Why am I making them so small? It looks like a birdie. Get out of here. How does it look like a bird? That is not what a bird looks like. Oh, like the paintings that have the, like a distant bird. I'm just now understanding Ojaswini. I think that's what you mean. Like a distant flying... I mean, I disagree. I don't think they look the same. But now I understand what you were talking about. Oh, man. I mean, do I get it? No. I get what you were meaning. Doesn't mean I agree. Bird mid-flap. No, the wings would be symmetrical if it was a bird mid-flap. If you called an ending a terminal R or a deathbed R, that's I would say that's a little more bird-like, but still not really. Don't rebel. Oh, I'm rebelling. I'm extremely rebelling. Don't body shame a distant bird. Oh, man. So easy for my R's to just keep getting shorter and shorter as I write them. Rebel without a bird. No, next time I paint a landscape, you know what? It's like gonna be a nice landscape. There'll be mountains, a valley. There'll be a sun shining down. There'll be trees, nice trees everywhere. And then in the background, little birds. You know, actually, upside down. No, that still doesn't look like a bird. Yes, everybody is, in fact, entitled to their own opinion. They can call the R whatever they want. And I won't be wrong if I want to. I will just not be wrong. I know that's the wrong R, Ojaswini. That was my plan. That was my point. That was intentional. Oh, it's so weird to make, because I've been essentially like, this is the R that I want to do all the time. I've been fighting my whole life to get that nice soft shoulder on the lowercase r. Now it feels exceptionally strange to be trying to add a shoulder back to it. I'd be lying if I said I liked it, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Slight shoulder. Rebel. No. Rebel Mike. I mean, if not calling a terminal R a distant birdie R is rebelling, that is being a rebel, then yes, I am a rebel. Soft shoulders are overrated. Oh, it's so easy to make that down stroke so curved. I've got to be very cautious. I'm assuming that's why people end up with the quote-unquote no neck R that James was talking about, because in effort to make that downstroke not be really curvy, it ends up just being like a slight side stroke, like so. Or it'll just go like up and then curve over and down, like that, which when it's really small can look like a nice R. What up, Lamb? What up, Peter? Nice to see you guys. Welcome, welcome. What supposed to be is, I mean, it depends. Depends what book you're following. I just looked through 5 business penmanship books, and they all look like that, with a hard shoulder. Well, no retrace, though. They all look like that. So that's, ideally, that's probably what we should be going for business penmanship. Peter, you'll have to go back after this stream is done, or on another day, and review the 15 minutes of footage prior to you entering into the chat. Unless you were here and just not chatting for it. Because this has been an interesting conversation, to say the least. I've never been so confused on a stream. I mean, that coupled with the fact that I've actually been doing business penmanship R's incorrectly. It's so hard to make them smooth. No rhythm whatsoever. Come on. It's a bit ridiculous. How to write the word writing? So the WR connection that you were talking about before, if I just draw one here, just an undercurve, downstroke, undercurve, downstroke. Personally, half width undercurve into the connection to the R, like so. See, it looks weird. That's what I was saying earlier. I think a lot of people think the WR look weird because the WR physically can't look like they want it to look. That's how the WR looks. Naturally. Now, if I was doing my favorite R or a terminal R, then you don't go above the baseline. So then you get undercurve, half width. Which personally I like a lot more. I think that looks better. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like coming from the V, the W, or the R, or sorry, the V, the W, or the B, going into the R, or I mean even more so the S, just looks weird. It's probably the question I've got asked most since I started teaching penmanship and calligraphy is, how do you do that connection? And you just do it. And you just get used to the way it looks. If you don't like the way it looks, use this R. But it just looks weird. And if you hate it, it doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. I mean, you might be doing something wrong, but even when it's done exactly correctly, it's just a weird connection. So people will, like, what I find weirder is when people do things to try to make it not look weird. What up, David? When people do things to make that connection not look weird, for example, if I were to do just a standard W, drawing these forms so I can get my point across, and then they'll go like, they'll drop this down lower as they're going into their R, because they want to fill that space a little bit. When I look at that, when I see just a piece that has that looks wrong. It doesn't look weird to me, it looks poorly executed. But so when people try to fix the R, the WR connection, it looks more wrong. So it's just, you just gotta come to terms with the fact that WR, VR, BR, WS, VS, BS, they just look weird. It's just a weird looking connection. And when you get used to the way that it looks, and it's not weird anymore. Or, if it still looks weird and you don't want it to look weird, dun-da-da-da, use the other variation of the R and it solves all of your problems. Literally, and if you have any issues with the lowercase r, basically that variation solves all of them. If you want to solve all your problems, use that R. If you don't, just get used to the way the other one looks. Yeah, people always ask, and this is the go-to thing to do it. They want to drop down a little bit, and yeah. Could do the small capital R. That is also true. I use this R because it looks good. It solves all of my R issues. Oh, just Swinny. It's no longer a terminal R. It's just a variation. I would call that a running R. Perhaps David knows, because he's better at remembering things than I do. Is there a name for this? I would call this a running R, personally. I don't know that... Wait, it was... What did Palmer call it? No. Dave, you missed the past, 15 minutes have been riddled with ridiculous, silly nicknames for all the different R variations that don't make any sense at all. But, in my own brain, terminal R, running R, and then I just call this one the traditional R. Is how they differentiate in my own head. I want to see, does Palmer call it? Because he actually talks about the difference between the two, but I don't remember what specific verbiage he uses, if any. He might not have given them names. Yeah, I don't use decapitated, terminal R, deathbed R. Yeah. Those are, that's traditionally the ending R and the ending T. They'd be called terminal R, terminal T, so that makes sense. That's what I would call them. Where is the R in here? There it is. Does he use... No, he just calls it the form in the second line. Was somewhat difficult to learn. It's much easier in execution when mastered. Yeah, he doesn't actually give a term for it. I like this line. Unquestionably, the first few trials will be discouraging, but faithful practice will be rewarded. Stick to it. There's a quote. Write that down, ladies and gentlemen. Put that on a t-shirt. Because that's a good one. Undoubtedly. It's basically a much more eloquent way of when I say, let yourself create garbage and be okay with it. But the same half R. Now what's the... See, now David's bringing in other terms like half R. Now we have another term for an R that I gotta keep track of. Yes, the term... for me, this is the only terminal R, personally. No, you're good, Dave. It's, like I said, you've missed... This has literally just been a ridiculous joke about R terminology for the past, half hour now. For me, terminal R is this. This is what I would call the ending or the terminal R, and that's the only form that I really call that. Any form can continue into a flourish. That's even if we were to do what I was calling the running R. Oh, now my pen's dried out because I've stopped and talked for so long. Shamo. There we go. Even if I were to do the running R, that will often go into flourishing. It's still, I wouldn't call this a terminal R, because the terminal R, that's the terminal R. Just like the terminal T, that's the terminal T. The terminal or the ending letter. Badoom to you, Peter. I don't think you were here, Peter, when I made a really bad pirate joke. A little bit ago, Lurker James was saying that a terminal R made him feel like the R was on his deathbed. So then that's when I started calling it a deathbed R. And then I said, it's the last thing a pirate says before he perishes is terminal R. It's his ending R. I think that might not have been the wording. Not a funny joke. In any case, feel free to forget it. I mean, the half R is actually the running R because it's essentially the capital R minus the top loop. I mean, maybe. You missed something, Peter. I will say that. I don't know if I'll call it fun. No, it was very fun. It was a fun conversation. Anyways, I'm gonna go back to my drills here. See? Now I have David talking backwards. This is the confusion stream of 2022, ladies and gentlemen. We're messing up everybody's heads. Calling things the wrong things. Because technically, like, if we were to do, like, a capital R, if there was a capital R in here, if that was a stem, and we had a little... Technically, I mean, that's inside here. It's just that, yes, without an upper loop. So, a regular R... I wouldn't say the running, because a running R... doesn't go down to the baseline, so that wouldn't be the variation of the... I mean, unless it's... This is ridiculous, because now we have that variation of the R. What if this looped around this way? And then put the tail there. All the R confusion. I don't think there is anywhere to look to fact check this. This is just ridiculousness now. I mean, I make up words for my tap moves all the time in my tap classes that I have to tell my students. I'm like, you guys are all used to my weird words that I use for things, but if you take other people's classes, these are not real dance terms. These are words that I've made up for certain things that I use a lot. I've given them my own names. But I make it very clear to them that this isn't a standard thing. If you go to somebody else and talk about it, they're not going to know what the heck you're talking about. Oh man, hilarious. Twerking R, get out of here. And it was at that point that Mike stopped talking about the lowercase r. Alright, let's make some WRs, just cuz, even though my W's don't look good today, and who the heck knows what R I'm gonna use. We'll use that one. That's not the one we're supposed to be working on, though. Ooh, poor form. Let's try that again. WR, WR, WR. 2 sets of 3 should be decent. Ooh, too much retrace. I gotta make my R's a little taller. Be honest, my arm feels like it just doesn't want to be good at penmanship today. Today's one of those days that I should be doing crazy flourishes that don't require a lot of precision. Because my hand just feels like it doesn't feel like doing penmanship today. My hand feels like goofing off. Which I'm all for. Except It's nice to have precision too. Rebel arm. Yeah, there we go. My arm is on its own agenda today. It's just that R just solves the problem. That R, it just works. W or an M? Sure, why not? Oi. Focus your brain, Mike. All over the place today. Here, I asked most everybody else when they were in the chat. I don't remember. James, did you answer? I can't remember. Do you make the second stroke, the second downstroke and under, or the second undercurve of your W half width, or do you leave it full width? We'll say David, Peter, and James, because I can't remember if James answered who that question is. Without an R. Clever, Peter. Very clever. Without an arm. Wonderful. Well played. That was a better 3 set. But half width is your goal, is what you're saying? I mean, whether it works or not. That makes sense. I'm similar to, I guess, the way James said it. My goal is always to make it half width. It feels weird for me now to make a W all full width, even though the majority of the old of the business penmanship books don't treat it with a half width. They treat it full width. Both of them, which is interesting. Does Mills? I can't remember now. Looking for a W, looking for a W. Looking for the page that he specifically teaches the W. I must have missed it. Looking for a W. Oh no, he's half width. Okay. So Mills does go half width. The last part of the letter should not be made quite as wide as the first part. It is often desirable to finish the W with a slight dot at the top. Okay, so not quite as wide. Yeah, okay, so he does that. Zayner kept them both full width. Enjoy your cooking, James. Oh, awesome, Tony. Be sure to let me know how you like it. Hopefully you liked it. You like using it. Tony just ordered this same paper I'm using today. Well, he ordered the natural color. This is the white. I usually practice with the white and I use the tan for pieces and whatnot. Or I go back and forth. When I'm on camera, I usually use the white. Hopefully you like it. Good night to you if you're still here, Tony. I might have missed you leaving. Ooh, so much retrace. Hello, Prachi. Welcome, welcome. I feel like I'm in the mood for a capital letter. What capital letter would you guys like to do? Any suggestions or requests from the chat? I don't do business penmanship capitals very often, but I feel like diving into them. I feel like I need to do something bigger for my rebel arm today. David says E. Peter says F. Marilyn says F or L. All right. We'll start with E. A nice rounded form, and then we'll maybe go to F, and then maybe go to L if we have time. Why leave R? Yeah, we're done with R. Maybe we'll do capital R in a little bit, but we're going to take a break from the R. Here, we can do all those variations of the R. Standard. Soft. Ooh, that's ugly. No neck. I don't remember the other ones. All right, let's go work on some low or some capital E's. Get our oval on for a little bit. I feel like I like the business penmanship E. Chilling out the exit of it to connect cleanly to a lowercase letter throws me for a loop sometimes, I must admit. All right. So Zaina recommends an exercise where we do ovals and slowly going in, making them smaller. Now, admittedly, so I'm writing larger than what Zaina recommends in his book. I'm using the guideline size that Mills recommends in his book, but meh. It's not that different. Now, I should make a disclaimer here, just as I always have to do. These books aren't designed to be gone through like I do in these streams, where we sort of pick a random letter and we work on it, do a line of this exercise, a line of this drill, and then go into the E. The books are designed to spend time with this, keep doing a whole bunch of these, and then you move on to the next exercise, ideally mastering the previous exercise before you move on. So please don't think that this is, if you're at home wanting to practice, this is not necessarily the flow that you should use in practicing or trying to get good at these scripts yourself. I'm kind of diving from one to the other to keep the stream fun and playful, but it is less of a discipline-specific training exercise. Feel like I'm writing too angled. That's better. Yeah, I feel like it's very common with people doing home practice that they'll like take a book, open it, literally do this many of this exercise, and then start doing the next exercise, and they'll do that like 6 times, and then do this 6 times, and then do this 6 times. No. This is like an entire practice session could be dedicated to this. and then to this is another entire practice session, and then this one. Ideally, to get the most out of a book, you would literally go through and don't do the next exercise until you've essentially what they would say mastered the previous one. So then you're always building compound growth, building on top of what you learned before. Whereas if you're just jumping, then your muscles and your mind never have the time to fully get used to a specific exercise or something like that. So it doesn't then live in your muscles like you want it to. But it makes for a less entertaining stream if I were to just do this for 2 hours. I wouldn't do that for that long anyways, but for half an hour or something like that. So we jump around because it's fun. But similar to last week where we were fully doing lines of essentially cross drills going and then turning the paper, that is more of what we consider a legit practice session. We would just do even more of that before moving on to the next letter if we were legit training. All right, now we got to add this tiny little loop in the middle. Whoa. Ooh, what's the snack? Nice, Peter. What was your chopstick snack? I had chocolate-covered almonds right before the stream, but I must admit I did not use chopsticks to eat them. Chocolate Nutella, yummy. That looks like a baby butt. Oh, just Winnie. We're not calling this the baby butt letter. Big part for me is not tensing up, doing that little loop in the middle, but letting my smooth flow just take you right through. Not worrying too much about precision in the beginning, and eventually precision will ideally build. But if you try to control that precision, then you're going to lose movement, and your lines are going to suffer for it. Kettle corn Chex Mix and white chocolate Cheerios. White cheddar Cheerios. Okay. I like the idea of white chocolate Cheerios though now. Ugh. Why is that first loop always so bad? Not bad when I'm doing ovals on the page first. But when I touch down, it's gotta be initial stress. The thought of the touchdown makes that first one go crazy. And it shouldn't. An email, I mean, you can email them to MrMGWard at gmail.com if you want. I don't have a specific one. I think most people would, if you're not on the Discord is probably the best place to post them in there. Because then that's just the running chat. There's a business penmanship, the BP share thread on my Discord would be the best place that I would say to send them. And then anybody who's practicing as I'm going or if they do something and they want a specific question about it, then I sort of have everything in one spot, and everybody in the chat can reference that same channel and see that same image that somebody's asking about. If you're willing to, and you don't have to download Discord as an app, you can just load Discord in a browser. Totally works, but that's what I would recommend, rather than an email. Alright, now he does some double high ones to get used to adding a little extra entry loop. Whose book do you follow primarily, David? I'm assuming Mills? Because I feel like if you didn't follow Mills, Marcus probably wouldn't let you hear the end of it. Thank you very much, Xenia. I appreciate that. Wesco, okay, nice. The R, the B, and the K. I mean, the main stroke of the R, the B, and the K, you mean the capital stem? The first shade? That takes some getting used to. Xenia, if you wanna jump on, speaking of my Discord, if you want to post some of your samples there, I'm not doing shaded writing in today's live. But if you want to post some of your work or if you have a specific question in the Discord chat, then it can be addressed by myself or some other ornamental penman in there. It's a pretty awesome community, if I do say so myself. I believe you, Peter. I believe you. But if you don't, that's also alright. There's no pressure. I would say, though, if you want to join in the current series of challenges that I'm doing, is quite fun as far in the ornamental penmanship world. Picking a specific stroke every week and kind of dissecting it, an easy stroke or like a simple letter or a simple form. And we'll just, every week, sort of at random, we'll pick a stroke and we'll work on it sort of all as a group. And then if you don't have time to do it that week, I mean, the information is always there. You can dive back in anytime when it's convenient to you. Make that ending a little wider. That's the idea. Like that one. Give that little guy a happy face right there. Why not? Question mark? According to the bad pylon, you're in. Thanks, David. Yeah, it's fun. It's relatively slow a lot of the time. My own fault because I don't post nearly as much as I should. But there's channels about all sorts of styles on there. People can post questions and share their work, and people respond in it. I would say lately it's been the ornamental flourishers, or the offhand flourishers have been the ones that have been keeping things going. Hody posts her usually every week. She'll do a catch up of her word of the days. And now we have the OP sort of challenge weekly exercises going, which are fun. It's just a casual place to learn and hang out and chat and ask questions. Whoa! Fuzzy Bunny! I can't see the name, it's too small. Dizzy Bunny! Welcome, new follower. Whatever your name was, I could not see, and I'm not logged into my YouTube stream at the moment to see. But welcome. Maria Edwards. Welcome, Maria Edwards. It's been a while since we've seen a Dizzy Bunny. One thing that I find so funny about the Dizzy Bunny, so as you guys know, we hear ba la la la, and the little Dizzy Bunny comes up on the screen. That's tied into just, like, it's my stream elements that does it, but it's tied into my OBS, which is the streaming software that I use. When I'm in classes or like a Zoom meeting that has nothing to do with penmanship, anytime I have OBS turned on, because I could probably figure it out, but I don't specifically know where that feature is to turn on and off. So when I'm just here, like, say I'm just having a face-to-face Zoom meeting that has nothing to do with penmanship, it could be about dance or about anything, business, if somebody subscribes to my YouTube channel, you hear ba la la la, which is, it's quite hilarious to me. And then the little Dizzy Bunny comes up on the screen. It's very funny. And unexpected. And it always elicits confused look/questions from the people that I'm in a meeting with. But I find it fun. Oh, too big. Doing business penmanship capitals at the size that that EC Mills recommends is quite a challenge. I gotta say, it's tiny. At 930 seconds of an inch, it's very tiny. I know 3/8 isn't much bigger than that, but that's what 3/8 is what Zayner and what Palmer use, and it feels good. Just that little extra bit of space. You can see how here, like, this E drops just that far below the baseline, which would take me to 3/8. But I'm using a Mills-sized guide sheet today, so I gotta write it a Mills size. Ooh, that's a good one. Uh-oh. Did you manage to clean it up? Did it spill on anything important? Hopefully not. Some of you will remember the day I spilt an entire jar of white ink right onto my power bar that powers my lights and my cameras and everything, and all the lights turned off. That was dramatic. Easily the most dramatic end to a stream that I've ever had. Yeah, that was probably the shortest live. You're probably right there. Because I had to cut it off. I was nervous that all my devices were gonna short out. Oops. Just for fun, look here. We have a clear piece of acetate, or clear piece of plastic. This is... So EC Mills doesn't do that extra little loop on the top of his E's, but we're gonna compare. There we go. I thought I was writing too angled, but my angle isn't bad. Where's one of the better ones? I gave that one a little happy face. Compare the two. Not too shabby. His exit stroke is obviously a little bit wider than mine, and I have a loop there and he doesn't, but the rest, pretty darn spot on if you ask me, which I'm happy about. That's good. This, if you have or have access to or can get a laser printer, I mean that one looks good. The rest I wouldn't say they need some work, but like Palmer Method books used to ship with, what they call it, overseer, like so you could check your work. Same with Palmer's E's, you can see are much more round than mine. They're larger too, so it's hard to get a direct comparison right here. But his are they're wider than mine are. But they used to sell them, and I got thinking the other day, I mean, overhead projector plastic, it's not as thick as the ones like this or the ones that come in Tamblin's book, for example, which is kind of like a frosted page. But you can print on these. So you can just grab the page from any of the books you're studying, print a reference. If you don't like it, take some acetone to it, which erases it, and print it again if you want to change the size or change something, and then you have a chill, easy reference. You don't have to use it, but it feels good to be able to do something like that and be like, ooh, pretty spot on, which I'm happy about. Because I thought I was writing too angled, but I guess I'm not. So we're gonna dive right back in. I'll do a few more, like finish this line maybe, and then I'll go to another capital letter. In a practice session, I would probably fill in an entire page of these, or more, or power out by the time I get halfway through a page. But a couple people mentioned the capital F, so we'll dive into that one maybe. So Mills just use a little tick at the top. Like so. Ooh, that's a good one. I definitely find the tick at the top easier than the loop at the top. I think that comes from, I think why that doesn't feel super awkward to me. That's kind of what I was talking about earlier. If I completely relax my arm and just do like an oval, and then if I relax and just do two small ovals in the middle without adding tension, that little loop is naturally gonna be at the right angle. And I feel like I know it's the opposite direction, but ornamental penmanship capital B is one of my favorite letters. So doing that stroke that goes like this so often gives me that opposite. Again, it's going the opposite direction, but feels similar when I'm creating it. It's just going the opposite direction. Ornamental penmanship, it doesn't feel, the E in ornamental penmanship doesn't have that flowiness because I personally struggle going into the shade on the lower portion of the E. Not extremely, but just that quick transition into the shade. I feel like the anticipation of the shade affects it, so that little loop doesn't end up being quite as smooth. But if I can manage to stay super relaxed, that little loop on the off angle will just take care of itself, essentially. In theory, the one of this entire letter, I feel like the stroke that I have the most trouble with, and it's with the lowercase c as well. Any of the letters that have that little loop on top, the entry into the little loop, that's easily the most inconsistent portion, I feel like, to all these letters for me. Because it always feels wackadoodle when I go into there. Each one feels different. Which is why, I guess, doing it Mills, just doing a little tick, feels much more natural. Yeah, I will use like doing a C like so, like that. Just that little loop. The angle, getting the angle right, and just the size, and primarily where it touches down. Mine will often be a lot longer or come in like too far from the right. It's something that I've struggled getting consistent for a long time. But if I struggle at it, that means I need to practice. You can see it always has, like, it curls over. It's not good at just starting right there. And it's that little narrow, tiny oval. Wackadoodle entry strokes. Exactly. Good night, Lori. Thanks for hanging out. Have nice dreams of distant bird R's and whatnot. Woo, that was a good one. Happy with that one. No stream next week. This will be the last one until the new year. There probably won't be a stream for a while now because I'm going home for the holidays. And then after I'm home for the holidays, I'll come back, but I think I missed this. Oh, depending on what time my flight is. Maybe the day I get home, we could do a stream. And then I go to Philly. So I'm in Philly from the 11th to the 19th. So if a Tuesday falls in there, which I think it does, on the, what is it? The 15th is it? No, 16th? 17th is a Tuesday, I think. Miss that one, because I'll be over there. And then when I get back, we'll get back into start our New Year's streams. I'm gonna give that a happy face, and we're going to move on to the capital F, because I'm very happy with that one. Just for good measure, let's check it to see if it's as close as I thought it was. It's a little smaller than his. Why is it smaller than his? This is his guideline. Or maybe I made this guide bigger. Decent, though. Happy with it. I go to Philly, I say every year, but I haven't been there for a bit because of COVID, but I attend the Philly Pen Show every year. So going to the Philly Pen Show, that's my primary reason for going over there. And then I'm staying for a couple extra days to visit family, to visit my cousins in Newark. And then if I can swing it, I'm going to take a day and go into New York to the Newark Public Library to check out the other half of the Healy collection. Again, because I saw it last time I was in New York, but I'd like to check it out again. I won't have as much time on this trip as I did last time, but there are a couple scrapbooks that I believe I didn't have time to look at last time I was there, so I'm going to see if I can check them out and see how much, if I'm fast, how much I can document to share, because that archive hasn't been digitized yet, though that's something we're working on. Okay, F was the request. Close my pen while I look for the capital F. Well, for the next 2 weeks, I mean, if ever, when I'm chilling here, I will probably be using, as you know, Peter, in the Discord, there is the live study room, which is like a 24-hour Zoom call that's just open all the time. When I work on the weekly form and letter challenges or the weekly exercises, I'm going to be doing them in that one, not on stream and not with a face cam or anything, but I'll have my top-down camera on when I'm working on those. And that'll primarily be in the late evenings. So not Tuesdays, but when I'm working on those in the nighttime, probably around the same time as my streams happen. If you see me in there, jump in. Even if you're not writing, you can jump in and hang out like the streams. Where are we? Capital F. That's what we're looking for. Left, capital F, capital F. Fascinates me the different order that the different books and different teaching methods lay out the alphabet to the students. Most of them are pretty similar, but the slight variations in when and why they teach certain things I find fascinating. Oh, I don't like Zayner's F. So this is Zayner's F. It just has the horizontal into the compound curve. I'm gonna see. I don't know if I want to do it with the horizontal line. I want to go straight into that compound curve, I think. And then loop the over top. That's sort of the idea that's in my mind that I want to do. But what book is it that does it that way? I mean, Palmer method is super easy. Undercurve, downstroke, across, and then the loop on top. Alright. Now I'm curious. Okay, yeah. We're gonna picking and choosing from different books today. We're gonna work on this F because it's the prettiest, I think. Compound curve into the hard point and across to the tick, and then the looped compound curve to top it off. That's what's in my head when I envision the F. So that's the one we're gonna work on. I mean, it's essentially this one, just without the horizontal line and with a crossbar on top. I never realized that Zayner did it that way in this book. Does he do it at the end too when he uses it in like sentences and things? Curious. He does, for the T as well. Weird. Never noticed. Or, as per usual, noticed and didn't remember and didn't care at the time. Alright, let's dive in. First practice, the retraced exercise going over the line 4 times. The first part of the F including the dot should be made without lifting the pen. Criticize your work, try to see the faults, or there will be no improvement. Good suggestions. Compare position with the engravings at the beginning of these lessons. All right, so just doing downstroke, compound curve. All right. Cool. You're ready. Nice. Ooh, you know what I learned this week? Jingle Bells was not originally a Christmas song. I learned that on the Anderson Pens podcast. No, not the podcast, the Anderson Pens Sunday Brunch, which my good friend Eric Orozco and Brian Anderson were doing. And yeah, I guess Marilyn, you would have watched that as well. Eric educated everybody in one of his quizzes saying that Jingle Bells was originally... Was it a Thanksgiving song, I believe is what it was? You did, indeed. I heard that. Speaking of Anderson Pens, really good friends of mine, really awesome fountain pen shop. If you are into fountain pens at all, they do podcasts every week, and then they have Sunday brunches that come, and they're very fun. Good friends of mine run them. They are on the road to 10,000 subscribers on YouTube right now. If you want to jump over to them and give them a subscribe so they can get to 10,000, that would be awesome. I know I don't have a ton of subscribers, so I'm not a huge power, but if I can lead people in their direction, because it'd be nice if they could hit 10,000 before the new year, that would be wicked. So, if you're interested in some fun fountain pen podcast stuff, jump on over there. There we go. Thank you for posting that, Marilyn. There's a link in the chat. Anderson Pens. Once this video is over, I will drop their link. I'll add their link to the description of this video as well. So if anybody's watching this afterwards and doesn't see the live chat replay, I'll put it in the description. What up, Brian? How you doing? Okay, just to get my arm going in this figure eight, I'm gonna do a couple of these. Oh, my pen keeps drying out because I keep talking. There we go. Come on. 99.99. They're so close. Yeah, let's get them to 10K. I mean, they've been working on it for a little bit now and talking about it. So I'm pretty sure they'll get there before the new year. It's a fun time if you're into pens at all. Their podcast is quite, or ink, any of that stuff. One of us could be their 10K. It's true. Or one of you. I can't be. I've been subscribed for a while. One issue that I know I always have in here is I tend to freak out on this upper curve of this stroke. Subscribe. Right on. Thanks, Mom. Only 10 more? Come on! I know we don't have that many people in this live right now, but yeah. One day we'll hit 10,000 on my YouTube channel if I ever start actually making YouTube videos again, maybe. So I need that to be a little wider on the top there. There we go. Where do I start it? On the downstroke. That's where I gotta start it. It's one of those things where I gotta remind myself to relax, like that little loop on the E, and let it naturally just, that compound curve on that upper loop just flow. Oh, my mom's bragging. I have a few more than you on Instagram, we'll say that. Any new shows that I've been watching? TV shows. What's the last TV show that I watched? I tend to be a binger, so I wait until shows are like a few seasons in, and then I watch them all all at once. And I don't know that I haven't dove into any of the new ones like White Lotus or any of those yet. Just because I've been sort of distracted with other things. I was finishing a rewatch of a Japanese anime that I was a big fan of, Naruto and Naruto Shippuden. When I originally watched them, I watched them the way I like, in Japanese with subtitles. But as I was working on things, I watched those in English, which not a huge fan of the dubbed versions, but it allowed me to look away from the screen and be a little bit productive. No, White Lotus is on my list, but I haven't dove into it yet. Peter, don't encourage her, Peter. And then a new volume of not a podcast, of an audiobook that I've been listening to for a while now. It's the eighth book in the series. Just came out yesterday, I think. So I've been listening to that for the past day, and it's gonna take me a little bit of time to finish that one. It's called He Who Fights with Monsters. It's a lit RPG or a literary RPG. It's like a video game. It's like a book, but it's like he's living a video game scenario type of a thing. Super nerdy. But I got really into the series, and the 8th book just came out yesterday. So listening to that, I've been waiting for that one for a while. I rewatch a lot of things, but I'm woefully behind on the TV show movie world right now. Oh, so that has to go up high enough that can come up just straight across. Get the little tick. Ooh. Yeah, I've heard Wednesday's dope. I need to watch that. Lots of dope shows that I need to watch that I haven't. The main TV show that I watch every week when it comes out, which the latest season just ended, is Taskmaster, which isn't really like a story show. It's just a British panel show that I find hilarious. All right, Peter, sweet dreams. Thanks for hanging out. Have a wonderful Christmas, and hopefully we'll see you on the Discord. Come join me when I'm practicing our weekly exercises. He has this little, like, slight dip into straight. Slight dip into straight, you can see. Goes up, and then slight dip into straight. Where when I slight dip, this whole straight line ends up just being a fully undercurved line. I'm not used to transitioning into straight. I gotta get a little bit more used to. Or a less curved dipped line. Too abrupt. Chill out that compound curve. Ooh, if I make that straight line quicker, it straightens it out. It's a good thing to notice. Too much space there. A little wide. Let's chill out a little bit on that. Now, they keep that little loop quite close to the stem. Seeing I've been enjoying all the interviews and whatnot about Wednesday and the fun little tidbits about the season, but I gotta watch that eventually. I like that she doesn't blink. That's so awesome. How high? I want to see, how high is he crossing his F? So it still has, I'm making mine very straight. He still has a bit of an upstroke. We lie that on a baseline. Still has a bit of an upstroke. It's not exactly straight. But he's crossing just below the halfway point. Okay. I never watched Buffy. Wasn't a show that I got into for no real reason. I mean, that is a... I learned that he gave that to you during Dr. Joe's stream. That's a very nice gift. It's a beautiful pen. Take care of it. Like that one. Booyah. Compare. Heck yeah, his crossing is a little higher than mine because this is bigger than the guide I'm working on slightly. But I have a little bit too much curve in my top compound curve, but I'm not going to be that picky. Yeah, like I said, don't give that one a bath. Please, don't. It looks very new, so it's still very, very black, so the bath probably won't affect it immediately. But don't. No water close to your Waterman Black Hard Rubber. No water. Do me that favor. It doesn't need a bath. Just a cloth. Too far away. I quite like writing the F. They're not exactly perfect, all of them, but I find the F relatively, I don't want to say easy, but I don't find it crazy challenging. Whereas with the E, I feel a lot of variance when I'm writing it. Please trust me, Marilyn. Trust me. Black hard rubber was my world before I got into penmanship. Nah, don't do it. Just say no to water and black hard rubber in general. Trust me. It's one of the things that makes a lot of the ones you see so brown. Sun and then water. Once they get sun, the water just makes it worse. And the moisture. Just say no, and you will thank me in the future. Whoa, way too long. Too big. Right after I say they're easy, I write 3 horrible ones. I wouldn't do it. Ooh, too much curve. Where does the curve happen? It happens like right here. Sooner than I want it to. No, I mean, you don't have to treasure it, but I mean, to me, what I know about black hard rubber pens, taking water to a black hard rubber pen is equivalent of taking sandpaper to your car, paint finish. It's like the same. It's not something you would do, so it's just, you just shouldn't. It's just better to not do it. You can, but I just wouldn't. I just realized I totally wrote that one backwards. That looks nice. What was the other letter? F? Oh, L. L was the one. We can go into L. F was fun. I feel like there's some decent ones in there. Let's explore the capital L. Since Mill's book's here, that's probably the one that I will reference. Since L's another pretty minimal letter and it's got that same compound curve in it. Oh, that probably comes. So this is the exercises we would use for the T, or the T and the F. In Mills's book, doing the compound or the figure eights first, then getting that shape, then getting used to the crossbar. And then just adding the tick on the end of the crossbar. Where is L? We will use Mill's first variation of the L, which has the loop instead of the point, which I also like the point. I just recently designed for somebody a signature that looks like so, that has a pointed L on top. Obviously not business penmanship, but I like the pointed variation of the L. But we're not going to use that for our business penmanship practice today. All right. So same idea, we just come into that compound curve from a different spot than the F. And then we finish nice and chill with a compound curve below the baseline. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining in, David. It's fun. Humbling. I've seen your business penmanship before. I'm pretty sure you do more business penmanship practice than I do. And I feel like you use it in real world more than I do as well. You have a business penmanship signature that's even on your ID. My ID signature, it looks more like a heart rate monitor than a than writing. One day I'll transition over to a penmanship signature, but it's basically you get the heartbeats are the M, the H, and the L. The W and the D is basically that's it. MHLWD. That's my signature, and then just little like straight lines / slight squiggles in the middle. Ooh, gotta sit that on the baseline. I gotta make sure I keep this low enough as well that I get a nice long loop on top. I tend to cut it too short. It's true. It's very true. But you know what? Take the pressure off. There's no pressure. Nothing lasts for years. Because if you do something like, let's say, like an ID, you can get a new ID. You can request a new ID. I mean, you got to pay for it, but you can get a new ID. You can get a new signature on your ID. When it comes to a piece of writing, yes. In essence, a piece of writing lasts for years. If it's posted, it's always out there. Somebody has it. Somebody can reference it. But if you do something better, people are always going to reference and remember your better work. So I would say, if you can, don't be stressed about putting things out there that you be not scared, but that you're worried that your best work's not out there. Because if you do something better, which you will, we all will, down the road, that's what people are going to remember. It's easy to get caught up on thinking, oh, but then this is out there and it's not perfect. But people don't remember the not perfect stuff. Well, that's, yeah, for $40 for the ID. I mean, at least for a number of years. How long are IDs even good for? In the States, mine were different because I had immigration stuff, so they weren't permanent. It's like a passport, which now passports, I think my passport's 10 years? How long I don't even know how long my ID is good for. Let's find out. 5 years. Maybe in 5 years. 2056? Holy crap. Wow. That's bananas. Mine expires, my current driver's license, or was that my health card? No, I'm pretty sure that was my driver's license. Yeah, my driver's license expires in 5 years. So I'll get better at business penmanship in the next 5 years, and maybe I'll use a business penmanship signature for my ID. Okay, now I gotta get out of the habit, unlike, because what I want to do is start this like a Spencerian letter, not from the baseline, but it comes from up here and dips down and up. Okay. That's better. A little quicker would be good. It's possible, but if it fumbles, then you got a story to tell. Embarrassingly, something that has happened to me multiple times, not in writing an ID, but hanging out with people who asked for me to sign something. I have legitimately signed my name spelt wrong on numerous occasions. Because, as we're saying, you get stressed out about I'm focusing on the forms, and then usually, I'm a, for lack of a better word, performative individual, so I'm chatting as I'm writing and whatnot, and then I look at what I actually wrote, and it's not my name. My favorite of which is, well, there's two. I've signed M-I-C-H, and then at that point in my first name, I was signing my full first name, Michael Ward. I got to M-I-C-H, and I was thinking about how I was going to end my last name. So I was thinking about my last name. I was forethought, which you'd think would be great. But instead, I signed M-I-C-H-A-R-D. I just finished my last name and then wrote W-A-R-D, and legitimately didn't notice until I was done and sort of handed it to them and they read it and realized what I did. Signed something MrMGWard, which is MrMGWard Ward. Yeah, ridiculous. And then at IAMPIF, not last year, but the year before that, I signed something instead of MGWard. I signed it, was it WG? I wasn't thinking, I guess a dyslexic moment. I swapped the W and the M. So I signed somebody's speedball textbook, WGMARD, WGMARD. So I decided that's just going to be my secret pen alias is WGMARD. He's a famous penman that nobody remembers. I'll secretly put out faux specimens from this old penman, WGMARD. Ridiculous. But it happens. And it's a fun story afterwards. How do they get that loop looking so nice and long? Alert. Nice. I mean, it's nice to have a to have a faux penman. I just couldn't believe it. I didn't realize till I did it. I like writing the capital W a lot more than I like writing the capital M. So I was excited and I wrote, yeah, WGMARD. Whoa, too long. And I'm dipping too low. I want to do like ornamental penmanship go way down so I can do a loop. But it doesn't drop very low at all. It just sits like right there. All right, Marilyn, thanks for hanging out. Sweet dreams to you, and we will we'll see you in the new year. If not sooner, potentially. Oh, that upper loop. That's better. Thank you very much. Oh, and have fun at Disneyland next week. Or this week. I don't remember when it is, but it's soon. Have fun at Disneyland. Also, his entry oval, or his entry starts about the same time as that loop. I gotta get better at that. There we go. Too long of an entry. I feel like I have to get better ascender strokes before I can get better capital L's. Because that loop looking graceful is what I need. They're alright. I just feel like they're not as graceful. Like when I look at this, just the shape of this upper loop, I am now noticing when I bring it here, it is more angled than mine. I have my loop on my slant, and I feel like his are more slanted than his actual writing slant. Am I wrong in that? No, I feel like his loop is a little more slanted than his writing slant. Which is a good observation to make, because maybe that's something that will make things feel better. I've been making some interesting penmanship observations lately, specifically sort of prompted by the weekly challenges on the Discord, which we just started. We're only one exercise in, but some just interesting observations in my own writing, and then thoughts about what exercises could make those better and whatnot. Now these are running penguins. There's the L is a bit penguiny. I'll give you that. Yeah, true. Agree. Yeah, it's fluid. You can tell that it's I've always had a hang up with, it's why my ascenders, it's the nice upper loop. It's the shape of that upper loop that comes out of my hand. Like, that's what I want them to look like. And when I do them in an L, they don't look like that yet. So, there is tension being added, finally, in my hand that I need to go away so that I can be more relaxed and it can come out the way I want. one stroke that I feel I find it's way easier of a stroke. But one stroke that feels kind of the same way that I've learned to release tension on, primarily because it's an easier stroke, but that when I don't actively think about relaxing before I write it, it doesn't turn out as nice. And that's a simple cross of the lowercase in ornamental penmanship, a lowercase ornamental penmanship T. I know you do these backwards, but for example, just like a T, doing just a compound curve cross, so it'd be like the same as crossing the compound curve on the F. If I legitimately, the second before I make them, think relax, it just comes out of the pen so nice and natural and smooth. But if I don't think that, there is not hitches in the movement because the speed is the same, but it just doesn't flow as much. Whereas if I actively, it just, the less I try, the better it happens. And that's, I feel like the same as an ascender stroke. I just need to not try and let the flow of my arm take care of it, because the flow is there, the rhythm is there. I need to relax. Do I write ballpoint? I mean, I write in my journals and whatnot with ballpoint pens, but I usually am not I write in block capitals. I don't usually do penmanship practice with a ballpoint. To Marcus Carlini's chagrin, probably. I don't like thick lines, though. That one's the right idea. That one's pretty decent as well. Too short. Thick lines save times. No, the finer the better. It's like people always talk about the nibs they use for business penmanship versus ornamental penmanship or something like that. And I always think, nah, but then my business penmanship looks, I want my hairlines to be the same. I want that extreme fine hairline all the time, except when I'm adding shades. I'm addicted to fine lines. That's what I want. Booyah. Give that a happy face. That's the flow we're looking for. Nice and smooth. We dropped down below the baseline a little bit too much, but that's all right. We're not going to worry about that. And I'm starting way far to the left for some reason. Thick lines save times. Yeah, I've never been the ballpoint, the napkin writer. I'll leave that to Marcus and Brian can do that. All right, dude. Have a wonderful evening and a wonderful Christmas and holiday season to you. Thanks for hanging out. Post some stuff on the Discord. You're practicing. I know you're at home writing. Post it up in the BP share thread. Let's see what you're working on. Sweet. Had a nice flow. It's a little too wide. Olivia's still here. just so carefree, nice and flowy. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Right on. I'm gonna go back and do a few more E's, because those are the ones that I do. We'll do, say, 2 lines of E's, and then I think I'm gonna call it a night. I think. Ooh, those are coming much nicer. After relaxing on the L and the F. That's a good one. Two angled those two. Woohoo! You don't need courage. You can send me anything. Never be nervous to send me something. Or to send anybody anything. Put it out there. I very much have to endeavor to respond to more people soon. I'm very behind on my correspondence. These are coming out of the pen quite nice compared to before. That entry oval is still a little wonky, but idea. Oops, too small in that lower loop. Well, that was a fun little session going through there. I do think I'm gonna end it there today. Some ridiculous, silly chats concerning the lowercase r, but that's fun. And some good practice into the capital letters, which I don't do much of. Ooh, that felt good. So this is it. 2022, I'm pretty sure. I was wondering if you were still here, James. But that's a wrap for 2022. If I happen to be chilling on a Tuesday wherever I'm at, maybe I'll do, I don't know, YouTube, Instagram, something. Maybe I'll jump on. But more than likely, once I'm traveling, I probably won't be doing much in the way of late night lives. We'll pick it up in January once I'm home from holidays and in the middle before I go to Philadelphia. I hope everybody has a wonderful holiday season, and I look forward to seeing you guys in 2023. If you want to, if you've been practicing, like I said when Peter was talking earlier, I do have the weekly, don't want to call them challenges, but our weekly exercises for ornamental penmanship on my Discord. If you want to follow the link down below to the Discord and dive into that. I will likely be doing some casual jumping on the Discord, not streams, but hanging out in the live video study room. If you want to join me there, because I can do that on my phone when I'm traveling and just talk to people while I'm practicing. Might do some of those, but if not, I'll see you guys in the new year. So thanks a lot. Make sure that you are falling in love with the process. Never be nervous or shy to have fun with it. You heard all the ridiculous R conversations. That's what this is all about for me. It's just a fun, good, silly old time. Just a bit of silliness, really, as one should say. So, now that I said it, don't forget, everybody, that life should be just a bit of silliness, really. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and I'll see you guys in the new year. Bye-bye.